Hello.
Who was it? One of our UK coaches was giving us some feedback and critique on some social media
Oh,
content. And he was like, this totally doesn't have anything to do with anything, but Justin has like the best voice.
I
It's like
really
a
do.
radio voice. And he's heard that a time
I've
or 1,000 over his
I've been
lifetime.
told over and over I've got a face for radio.
It is a very sexy, calming voice. See, it even makes me want to talk lower.
Right. Well, here, follower, when it's all said and done.
Wow.
Anyway,
Welcome.
welcome. Episode 76 of the Off the Cuff Podcast Show. I'm Justin Deweese. That's my breathtakingly, blindingly,
It is.
obviously beautiful wife, Ashley Deweese, who gets grumpy when I don't blow a bunch of smoke up her fine ass.
For this, he was like, okay, grumpy eyebrows.
Well, she put on her grumpy eyebrows. What do you want me to do? Oh my.
Wow.
And then when she acted like that, no, I didn't. I said, you spend a lot of podcast time talking about your amazing self awareness. And then you turn right back around and go, I don't know what my face is doing when I'm talking to you. I don't mean to look like a bee. It just happens. And I don't know.
You know, if you don't get anything else out of any of our episodes of this podcast, I hope at a minimum we make you feel better about yourself and your situation and or your relationship.
How amazing our relationship is make other people feel good about their relationship. They're going to look at it and be like, oh man, we're behind in so many metrics compared to these two wonderful, amazing individuals. The fact that this guy is carrying this relationship,
Does your back
deserving
hurt?
of sainthood,
How bad does your
putting
back
up
hurt from
with
carrying
her
this?
shenanigans.
How bad does it hurt?
It's quite frequently sore.
Is it because you're carrying this relationship or is it because you're 50?
Wow.
Yeah, it's
See,
about time you have to say wow.
see what I got put up with?
Oh,
I
you're
do
blessed
I
and you know
I
it.
do all of this and I get talked down to. It's amazing. But yes,
I will keep talking down.
yes, I turned 50 this past week.
Yeah. Don't look it.
It was magnificent. I do not look it because, I live right.
And that's not just
I
like
take my vitamins. I drink my white monster.
him being whatever. Like, he really doesn't look 50. And he's had multiple people tell him that.
Lots of people.
Even like when I took Ayla to a volleyball session this weekend, like another parent was like, I was telling my daughter that your husband's birthday because didn't matter why. And she was
The
like,
ladies talk about me when I'm not around. Duh.
she was like, how old is he gonna be? And she was like 50. And she was like, no way. He looks like he's 30.
That's right. Aging backwards, gang.
It's just the
You can do
vibe.
it
You
too.
could do it too. We could help you with that. It's just
Absolutely.
the product of taking care of yourself.
Anyway, so yeah, I turned 50, had a nice little birthday.
Yeah.
And we're at that stage of life where we got teenagers, almost teenagers. One will be a teenager in November, the other one's already there. And so as such, for my birthday, she took Ayla to volleyball. I drove to Lawrence to take Dax to soccer, typical birthday celebration stuff.
Family time together.
We did. And
We
listen,
did the things that you said you wanted to do, which you
right.
didn't want some sort of big celebration. So don't come at me like, didn't you throw like a big party for Justin? Like I would have, or I
It was
would
a
have.
test and she failed.
Oh,
I said, I don't want a big celebration. She should have heard he doesn't want a big celebration, but it's 50, so I got to blow this MNFer out of the water. But nope, she didn't. So,
oh wow. Wow.
I'm just kidding. I
Yeah,
didn't.
because he literally like as threatening as he gets, which is not very, he was like, so help me if you go against what I'm telling you I want for my birthday, which is super low key. So we
So it
didn't.
was super low key. And, then last night we celebrated my newfound age number
I was like, we did.
by going and walking around the mall like a couple of old farts. Had to get our steps in, so we went and just walked to the mall. Did we go into stores? Not really. Nope. Just walk the outside loop. I should have worn my AARP shirt.
It was super hot outside, and that doesn't necessarily matter because, like, on Saturday, we had steps to get, and we walked outside at Dax's soccer practice, and it was
That was on Tuesday,
whatever
but go
day it
on,
is.
queen.
We sweated our A off. But, yeah, so anyways, he was like, "Well, we could go walk at the mall because it's cool in there." The kids were at youth group, and I was
Well,
like,
and I needed to walk inside the cool because I got a haircut yesterday. Didn't question
Oh,
why. No, listen.
you didn't wanna get it
And
off.
I had already taken a shower.
I
I didn't
see,
wanna take a 3rd shower for the day.
I see.
So,
So anyways, yeah, we were walking, and in the midst of walking, it just hit me. I was like, "Oh my word, Justin, like, we are old people getting our steps in at the mall." But it's okay because movement is important. So if you are older and you are getting your steps in at the mall because that's where you wanna do it, it's totally fine. It
if
was
you're
just kind of
younger
a
and you're
moment.
getting your steps in at the mall, slay, queen.
So we don't care because what you're like a couple of years now, we've been talking about how we've become the older people because we eat at 5 o'clock.
We eat at 5 o'clock,
Sometimes we eat at 4:30 if need be,
in
and
bed by
we're
9,
fully okay with that. And
living life.
that used to be things that like we laughed about with other people.
Well, that's called maturing, honey.
It is, I guess. So
We take the wins we can get.
yes. I just thought maybe we'd talk about some things that maybe popped into mind this week or conversations that we've had or maybe conversations we haven't had, but it'd be a great time to bring it up.
Great. Sounds like an awesome plan. What's on your mind?
I was just thinking this morning because this morning I was really feeling sore and so I took a bath
Good job.
and I sent him a picture from the bathtub.
A nude, if you will.
NEWD.
NOOD.
NOOD.
Nude.
That's what I think of anytime I think of that sort of spelling.
You think of raccoons?
It's the O's. No,
Oh.
anyways, but I was thinking about how many wives don't do that.
And I have the answer. Not enough. Or wait, too many don't do it.
Yeah, not enough
Because the way not enough do it, too
do
many
it.
don't do
Too
it.
many don't do it. Don't confuse the people.
No, no, we're talking about you. We're not confusing you.
Okay, me too. I'm the people. Yeah, no, I was just thinking about that. How many wives don't do that? And I mean, I you're the first person I've done that with.
Okay,
No, it's the
we can
truth.
play that game.
I'm just saying I did not do that with my exes.
I don't do this with anybody else. Sure.
Can we hold the conversation
We're holding it.
where I was taking this
Okay, cool. Take it where you're going to take it.
is, why there's probably a variety of reasons that women would cite as to why they don't send pictures like that to their spouse. I want to just zero in on one potential reason, which would resonate with me and women like me.
Okay,
And the reason that I used to not do that with other mates and then initially with you was because I didn't like the way that I looked.
sure. I get that.
I didn't feel comfortable in my body. I didn't like the way that I looked. So I sure as shit wasn't going to be sending you a photo because
That would be on the
one,
internet forever.
the question is like, if I don't even like the way that I look, like, why would I send this to him? Like, he probably doesn't like the way that I look either. Um, then again, that's an assumption on my part. Number two, uh, I lost number two. Why I wouldn't send it.
Cool. Let me be the first to say, ladies, even if you're uncomfortable with how you look, I guarantee you, your husband will appreciate a nude picture of you.
If he's the right husband.
Well,
I'm just
let's
saying
just
that.
assume everybody's married to the right guy and gal. Can we do
Let's
that?
be honest, they're not.
Okay, cool. They're not, but let's just assume that they are.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Gosh, dang. It's like Rodney Carrington always said. You know who Rodney Carrington is?
I can't picture him, but yes, I know.
Stand-up comedian.
Yes.
He always said, as a guy, if you've seen one setup,
Hmm.
you want to see all of them. And so even though I've seen this literally 1,000
You
times,
wanna see more of it.
one more time ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
Well, I remembered the second reason, and
You're welcome.
that's because in addition to not necessarily feeling comfortable with my own body, even if there was like a level of safeness and confidence there because of past experiences, I have this fear of rejection
Well, sure.
that I've been working on. And so sending those previously would have been like it's vulnerable, right? Because you
Well,
essentially
you
are
don't have any clothes on. That's as vulnerable as it gets.
obviously. But the other thing that goes into that, because I can hear the chirping now, is I think there is like another side to that too.
I don't hear any chirping.
Aside from just maybe your own a woman's own individual reasons for not sending those pictures, by the way.
Yep.
Um, if if there's not a certain level of fire, intimacy, attraction in the marriage, like we've talked about, like knowing that we are each working on ourselves, like physically and mentally and emotionally, I think there's also not necessarily a desire
Sure.
to send those as well.
Oh, yeah, no. And listen, just so you folks at home don't get it twisted, we have a normal relationship. It has its ups and downs. You get to hear about some of the downs on this wonderful podcast show we put out. And let me tell you, I can tell when we're sort of going through a down
You
because
get less of
I keep track of the number of baths she takes where I don't get one of those pictures. And then I'm like, oh shit, she's mad about something. I better
it's
go figure this out.
it's a good system.
I listen, it's like the tide changes with the phases of the moon.
Well, and sometimes it doesn't even, again, I think that's a valid point, and it can have to do with like maybe our own tensions or things that are going on, but it also can clue you in that like, there's something that I might be struggling with,
Sure.
which can have to do with my body, but it also could have to do with other things too, right? That then I'm just not in I'm not in that place or that space to
Right.
want to do those things. And I was also thinking about as we're sitting here talking about this, or I'm standing here talking about it, which this is just a loaded topic, period. But you know,
I can go for some loaded nachos.
those do sound kind of good. No, like I think I want to speak just a little bit to the idea that like, well, some women don't like they don't get anything out of that. Like they don't have a desire to send that kind of photo to their spouse. And again, we're talking about to the person you're married to, right? To the person you are.
I can understand that same standpoint
I
to a
think
point.
right. And what I wanted to say is one, um, I would argue that for most women, if you fall into that category, some women, it's because like that's not actually the truth. There's something that's blocking you from doing it.
Yes.
Like there's a prior experience, maybe a trauma in your life, maybe an experience of rejection, etc. Like I cited for myself earlier on, that has you not so keen on doing that. And like I said, I really believe that a lot of it has to do with how you feel about yourself,
Well, of course.
period.
Yep.
Um, but also at that same time, I'm slippery slope here. But I also like I want to know the things that he likes, right? I want to know the things that like turn him on or that he likes receiving from me, etc. Because I'm just not a fan of like, I don't know, I don't care that you have that desire. I don't care that you enjoy this or that. Like, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying.
And it's a very loaded topic. And of course, there's asterisks,
Of course,
ways, there's
safe
exceptions.
words and all the
We're not
things.
really going
We're
to that
not.
place. We're
Nope.
speaking in
Right.
general.
Real general.
If you're in a marriage, like there are things that you should learn about your partner and their needs and their desires and their likes and whatnot. And of course, having conversations about it and maybe coming to compromises or whatever, but like there's things that I don't necessarily, and not just sex things, right? Like anything. Like there's things that like maybe I feel like that, hey, that doesn't really do much for me, but like he loves that, so I'm willing to partake.
Right. Like,
Careful.
no, wow, grow up.
I mean, this is like
I love the game of soccer. Like, love it. Have loved it since I was 5.
I love hearing you talk about the game of soccer.
Right. She, not so much.
I just
Clearly, with the
don't believe it.
sarcastic, I love hearing you talk about it.
More than I did.
Anyway, zip it. The last World Cup final. We sat down as a family and watched. And she got into it and got a little tense during some of the moments and whatnot, right? Again, she doesn't necessarily care for soccer, and given her druther, she'd probably not ever watch it, but she knows that I like it.
Right.
So here we are. Likewise, I've watched some of the dumbest movies you can possibly wrap your brain around because it's what she wants to watch.
Yeah.
It's a give and take. And what I was thinking as you were going through all that, do you have any more thoughts on it that you need to get out?
Let's hear you talk some more.
Is like sex is fantastic. I am a big fan. And like, I don't remember who said it, but someone said it. Even bad sex is good sex, right? But it gets, and this is an analogy for so many other things, but it gets so much better as you work on yourself, as you mentally and physically, as you open up to your partner and develop more and more of that intimacy, as you work and grow on that relationship, it gets better and better,
Yeah.
right?
And
And like I said, that's analogous to so many other things.
well, it's such a like a cyclical, I don't know if the right phrasing, but like a loop, right? Like one thing
Right, it's a
impacts the other
feedback loop.
thing, which then impacts the other thing.
Right.
And so don't get it twisted. Like we're not ever just like really nothing we ever talk about is like super cut and dry. We're not like taking it out of like the context of all of these other things that impact. But I really feel like going with what you're saying here, like this just goes back to our core message and of what we are going on and on about directly or indirectly every episode is just the power of personal growth as an individual and then of course as a unit, because yes, I said unit. Well, it just like you said, like for example, like when I feel better physically, I feel better typically mentally. And
Right.
when I'm feeling better mentally and physically, that gives me more confidence in myself. When I'm following through on my commitments, like going to the gym, eating well, uh, showing up to my meetings, doing the thing, like whatever those commitments are, like again, I'm building my confidence in myself, my self-trust. So then that puts me as an individual in a better state, which means I can show up in a better state
Right.
for you as your wife. And like you said, it just takes away some of those things that weigh us down, etc. That like we tell ourselves these stories that like, oh well, maybe we don't have sex very often right now because life is so busy, or we're older now and we've been married for 15, 20, 30 years, whatever, and that's just not important. Like we make up these shit stories when there's always something or something's at the root
Right.
that if you were addressing that, those stories you would find are just lies. And, this is one of them, I believe. I think if you looked at many marriages that are rocky, that are not going well, etc. It's not to say that there aren't other layers of issues there, but I would also be hard pressed. I'm not using this word, I'm not using that for you would be hard pressed to me to find a couple that is having like struggles in their relationship that also aren't struggling in some capacity with their physical fitness.
That's safe to say. And it's not to say that if you're killing it in the physical fitness game, you're
Your
going to have
marriage
the
is
greatest
like
relationship.
saying that. It's not.
It's that whole, are you making things easier for yourself or are you making things harder for yourself?
Well, it's the same thing as we talk about like people's health, right? Like the people who want to say, well, why would I spend the time and effort to like, be in a health routine and lose weight and whatever because, I could get in a car wreck tomorrow and have a big injury and whatever. Like, yeah, you could, but at the same time, like you're setting yourself up for better
Right. Playing the
well-being
odds.
if you do this, right? So again, like with this whole thing, like, it doesn't being in good health and good physical shape doesn't 100% guarantee that everything in your marriage is just going to be like hunky dory, but it does set you up for a higher
Right.
likelihood of success
Right.
than, because it's one thing to have an issue between each other, but it's also another thing to like have that same issue, but then also be feeling like shit about yourself at the same time.
Right.
Like it just makes it more difficult, as you said.
Right.
So, anyways, that's what was on my mind.
Cool.
What are you doing? This is so awkward.
What
It's only
do
awkward.
high five?
It's only awkward. I want to say that it's only awkward because I'm thinking about them. It's not actually awkward for us. I was listening to something this morning and the guy was saying how like you should be able to sit in complete silence with your partner for extended periods of time.
Oh yeah? Go on.
Mm,
Go on.
I can do that. Sometimes I don't
Can
like
you?
it.
Can you? We went on a walk the other day and I was just
But I would argue that that time on the walk, it was again, there was something else going on. So then that silence, I'm talking about like there's no other shit going on. There's not some like, you know what I'm saying?
sure. Sure.
Whatever.
You're probably right.
Again, if you haven't seen that episode, that's our family's way of being like, what you're saying is
You're
total
wrong.
crap, but I don't want to keep fighting you about it. So you're probably right.
And that so since you clearly like lobbed that up like, well, that's what's on my brain, and then got quiet, you're clearly looking for me to bring up a point.
I
So here you go.
I look,
Here
you
you
recognize that I
go.
talk a lot, and so and you don't always like step in. So I wanted to like offer up the mic to you.
She recognizes that she talks a lot. Right on the ass end of trying to make a point that I'm okay with sitting in silence with my partner. Okay. Anyway, what's been resonating with me, that's not gonna nope, that doesn't help. Look at the glare. Look at the glare. You're killing the people at home. Um, what's resonating with me is and it's on the internet. Did he actually say this? I don't know. But it's a quote that's been attributed to Keanu Reeves. And it says, I'm at that stage, I'm at that point in life where if you try to tell me that 2 + 2 = 5, I'm going to say, you're probably right. Have fun with that.
Is this Keanu Reeves Matrix or Keanu Reeves Point Break?
Keanu Reeves is the guy that lives and exists in our freaking world.
Can we please watch Point Break soon? Didn't they do a remake?
They did, and it's
Did we
trash.
watch it?
We did. It's
And I was like,
trash.
that is nowhere near close to
Right. You said it was trash.
ruined. Yeah.
And now you're like, did they make another one?
Well, it's been a while. So let's go back and watch the original. Oh
Okay.
my gosh, I love that movie. Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves at that particular point in their life in that movie, like, could it get any better? And Gary Busey before Gary Busey was like
Gary Busey. Although, looking back on it, that movie was a pretty good indicator who Gary Busey was going to become.
That
He
is-
was kind of unhinged in that.
he was kind of unhinged.
So you're going to spin off the world, baby.
It's a rainy day here, so now you know what we're doing with the rest of our afternoon. Point Break, baby. I don't know if we can introduce our kids to that though.
Why not? With some of the reels you show them, why couldn't we?
Stop.
You stop.
On that note,
Anyway, so 2 + 2 = 5. Have fun with that. My point is, like, I don't have time to argue with
Yeah,
you over stupid bullshit. I'm smarter than you. Let's just start there.
you're
I
probably
read
right.
way more than
You're
you.
probably right.
I am exposed to far more complex ideas and thinking
And
than
that
you.
makes you so much wiser.
I mean, yes. So if you want to tell me that 2 plus 2 equals 5, and I'm not talking about you specifically, numbnuts, you're getting all offended about this
But yet you're like burning holes in the side of my face while you're saying this.
because you get your knickers all twisted
I don't wear knickers.
when I don't look at you while we're talking or sitting in our comfortable silence.
Oh my gosh, we hope you've gotten some value out of this, even if it's just pure entertainment and making you forget about your own life for a while. Like, that's cool too. So,
She's like, Justin just brought up a good point. So let's wrap the episode. Tie a bow on it. What is your deal?
so I don't know.
We
Anyways,
got to stop just because
no.
this is going to get
If
worse.
there's anything that you'd like us to chat about, leave a comment, shout
This
us
clearly
out.
will go wherever.
And if you've decided that today's the day that you're ready to get your shit together with your health and fitness so that you can feel more confident with yourself and actually want to send spicy photos to your spouse, hit us up as well and we will hook you up.
Got a tutorial for it.